welcome. This is for the students in particular with respect to the referendum coming up on Thursday, January 29th, 2009. We thought that Jeff and I could provide you some information, some background as to why we're doing this, with the hopes of relaying information so that you can make a decision one way or the other in conjunction with the town hall meeting tomorrow. It'll be an educated version where you can see for yourself some of the new equipment we have versus some of the older equipment, which some of the first-year students may not be familiar with. Okay, Jeff?
For those of you who aren't entirely informed about what's going on here, we're going to hold a referendum on whether or not to raise engineering student fees to make sure that we always have state-of-the-art computing equipment. Those of you in first year probably don't remember these computers at all. They're a Unix system that was just terrible to work with. At the time they were purchased, which was about 7 or 8 years ago now, they're completely state-of-the-art. Not so much anymore, as we'll see. So we're going to use the money, if this referendum goes through, to make sure that we always have new computers so that you're not fighting against technology to do your studies.
Well put. That's exactly in a nutshell what we're looking at. And just to elaborate on that, it is a technology turnaround, but we're looking at something very aggressive. It's a 3-year turnaround for technology. In the past, with these, Jeff, as you've gone through most of your years with them, you can attest to the fact that you can get a coffee and a donut and come back and they'll slowly booting up. Some of the features of these are obviously Pentium 3. They had nearly half, I think it was 256 memory. They might have had 384 megabytes. Old style USB ports. The video cards pale in comparison to what today's graphics cards can output. This is what we had, and we had this for a duration of about 7 years. We're looking at aggressively changing technology over every 3 years. So the students are exposed to state-of-the-art technology, and every student during their 4-year term here will be guaranteed to see a changeover in technology. I think those that are in second, third, fourth year can attest. These are dinosaurs, but because of the budget, because of the restrictions we have in financing, we were forced to keep these for 7 years. Okay, so I'll put that aside, and I think all students realize what they have now. If not already, you will have exposure to the 24-inch LCD screens. The new HP workstations, the XW6600s, come standard with 2 gigs of memory. We purchased 4 gigs, sorry. They have the Quattro FX 1700 video card at a half a gig memory. There's a DVD burner now for the students, something we didn't have in the past, so students can make copies of their data directly onto the DVDs or CDs. USB 2.0 ports, headphone auxiliary jacks for audio, FireWire in the back. So we're talking, these are state-of-the-art. As a matter of fact, yesterday was actually Tuesday, during the visit from the CAB accreditation team, the chair, Dr. Kind, actually was astounded. He says, I've been to many different universities and I haven't seen anything like this.
Yeah. Now, just to be clear, we're talking about more than just the computers on the front end too, right?
That's correct.
We'd be getting a lot of server updates every year or every few years. There'd be a lot of programs that would be updated as well, right?
That's right, Jeff. Exactly. The focus is on the undergraduate core, sorry about that noise, but the undergraduate core laboratory use here. It would be extended. You're right, Jeff. Thanks for bringing that up. We're talking about hardware, but we're also talking about ancillary things like, for instance, extended lab hours, 24/7 access for the students. And Jeff and I, in conjunction with EdgeSoc, are working at allocating funds so that this will be open 24/7 for students, for undergraduate students, via swipe card or via their student card. They can come to the lab anytime and just really swipe their card and they'll have access to the lab at their disposal. The other thing that you mentioned, that's right, Jeff, we're looking at software expansion. Right now we are with the Microsoft Academic Alliance for Engineering, which gives the engineering students access to productivity tools, programming language like Visual C, C#, those kind of things for their programming needs, as well as operating system, fully licensed operating system systems for their home use or here for our campus. But you're right, we're also aggressively looking at, and again, this is a committee which will be formed. The students will have full say in where the money is spent and how. So absolutely, there will be extensions to software availability for student. But it depends on money, of course. But we're looking at server upgrades. Right now, we have a gigabit to every computer. And in the foreseeable future, we are looking at 10G per workstation.
Yeah, so we're going to be clear again here just to make sure that the students are going to have a big say in where their money is spent.
The students will have all the say.
Perfect.
There'll be a fund set up, and there'll be a committee administering the fund, represented by engineering students in each of their respective disciplines, as well as NSHOC representation. And so the students will have full say. It is the students' money. The students decide where and how it's spent.
Perfect.
So very clear on that. That's your right.
Yeah. And so with all these server upgrades, would I be able to use, say, licenses for MATLAB or CATIA or something in my home, so I don't have to necessarily illegally download?
That's exactly right, Jeff. That's what we're looking at in the future as well. Right now, our immediate focus is on filling the second lab, which is 207. As you know, some of the first years may not know, but there's a second lab for undergraduates. We're looking. That's the first priority, to outfit that lab with the identical equipment that we have here for 40 workstations. And the second step would absolutely be to look at ancillary needs for the students, and one of them is making use of a virtual private network so that you can access CATIA and other licensed applications as if you were sitting here. You could run it from home.
Excellent, excellent. So the big deal, as you've said, is making sure this is all updated for the students as soon as possible. Obviously, we need the money in order to do that, but we're also making sure that students' needs are met, and access is a big issue.
Yes.
So we're going to try and make sure that all these labs are open 24/7, essentially?
That's the target. That's correct, Chuck. And you and I are working aggressively on getting pricing for that system. So that is definitely, students will be updated on that on a regular basis, but we're trying to get it done for next semester so that we can have this 24/7 access, as well as outfitting the 207 lab fully with these new computers.
We're not only going to see changes in the long term, we're going to see some short-term changes.
Yes, you will. These will be immediate.
Excellent. And so what kind of increase in student fees are we looking at on a per-year basis?
We're looking at roughly the cost of an upper echelon textbook, about $125 for full-time students per semester to a maximum of 2 semesters. Undergraduates would be about half that. $65, I believe, is the part-time. Part-timers, that's right. The part-timers would be paying $65 for a maximum of 2 terms. So we're looking at roughly the cost of a textbook. Students will be guaranteed high-end computing access to these laboratories on a 24/7 basis.
Now, as engineering students are footing the bill, it's only going to be engineering students getting the benefit of this,
Correct. And that's what we discussed, to have the card access data. Thereby, only engineering students with their card access can make use of these facilities. We've already had several chemistry and physics students in here helping themselves because they don't have this kind of equipment. We want to limit it to engineering students only.
Excellent. Excellent.
And that's right, Jeff. There's other ancillary things that we're talking about, as well as plotting services and scanners. There have been several students asking for standalone scanners in the back so they can scan paperwork relative to their coursework. And that is something that's not expensive that we can easily accommodate as well.
Excellent. I think that about covers it.
Fantastic.
All right. Thanks, Susan.
Thank you, Jeff, for your time.